The Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G and the Redmi Note 13 Pro go for 613,800 naira or $380 and about 406,800 naira, $260 for about the same memory configurations, which is 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of internal storage. Now, if you're confused and wondering which of these devices offers the best value for money, I'd help you find out in this video. And so without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. From a distance, both smartphones might look similar, but don't let that fool you because once you lay your hands on these devices, the differences are clear. The Pro Plus 5G is designed with comfort in mind, featuring a curved display and back that fits nicely in your hand, and a nice change from what you get from the Note 13 Pro here, which has a boxy and sharp design. And if you're someone who still uses a wired headphone, take note that you do not get the headphone jack with the Note 13 Pro Plus 5G, but that's something you can still get with the Note 13 Pro. This change might be something to think about when trying to pick between these two smartphones. There's also a better IP rating, IP68 for the Pro Plus here and IP54 for the 4G variant here. So if comfort and build quality matters a lot to you, the Pro Plus 5G is that device to pick, except you really need a headphone jack before you can go for this one as far as design and build quality. Both of the smartphones have fingerprint scanners right underneath their screens. Sure, they might not be the quickest fingerprint scanners out there, but they definitely get the job done. And guess what? Every single Redmi device released this year, at least the ones I have here, all have an in-display fingerprint scanner. While both of these smartphones all have stereo speakers within them, not all stereo speakers are created equal. The Note 13 Pro Plus 5G gives you a clear and calm sound even at full blast, but that's not the case with the Note 13 Pro here, because cranking up the volume all the way might spoil the phone and make the sound. Yeah. Because cranking up the volume might spoil the phone and make it sound a little bit distorted. So to enjoy a cleaner sound on the Pro here, you'll need to lower the volume to about 90%. Now let's talk about the displays on the smartphones. These smartphones come packed with some impressive screens that really make your photos, your videos, and games pop. First off, both devices sport large 6.67-inch AMOLED displays, known for their deep blacks and vibrant colors. But you know, it's not all about size, as these displays refresh at a speedy 120Hz refresh rate. This means that everything from scrolling through your feed to action-packed gaming feels buttery smooth and responsive. In my hands-on experience, I noticed some differences between these two displays. The Note 13 Pro screen here tends to lean towards a cooler, slightly harsher color temperature. On the flip side, the Pro Plus 5G warms things up a little bit, making it easier on the eyes. Now let's talk about the brightness on these displays. The Pro Plus 5G outshines its sibling with a whopping 1,800 nits of brightness compared to the respectable 1,300 nits you get from the Pro. And this means that under the bright sun, the Pro Plus 5G stays clear and easy to read. But there's more than just brightness and color on these displays. The Pro Plus 5G comes with Corning Gorilla Glass Victus, tougher than the Glass 5 you get from the Pro here, adding an extra layer of durability for this display. Plus its nearly QHD resolution or 2K means everything looks sharper on this display, from text to textures in your favorite games, and thanks to the higher pixel density you get from this smartphone. In summary, while both smartphones offer great viewing experiences, the Pro Plus 5G edges out with the superior brightness, durability, and sharper display. The Note 13 Pro runs on an ARM-12 version of the G99 processor from MediaTek, which is the Helio G99 Ultra. It's fast, but wait until you hear about the Pro Plus 5G's processor, which is the Dimensity 7080 Ultra processor. This processor is not just a step ahead, it leaps and bounds beyond its counterpart, especially when it comes to gaming and overall performance. But don't take my word for it, I've put these two smartphones through their paces and gathered the benchmark scores to show you exactly how they compare. Both come out of the box with Android 13 and MIUI 14 ready to go. You're also getting a promise of staying up to date. These devices come with a solid 3 years of operating system updates, ensuring that your smartphones stay fresh and capable. It's a tight race between these devices, but this commitment to update means you're covered no matter which one of these devices you pick. So no stress about the OS here, and there's no one falling behind in terms of the latest features and security patches. Now let's talk about the cameras. These smartphones here have a 60 megapixel front-facing camera, and when you switch over to the rear of these devices, you have this hefty 200 megapixel main camera sensors, an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and also this 2 megapixel macro lens, which we'll probably never use. Now the main difference between these two cameras is the fact that you can record up to 4K in resolution for the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G, this one here, while the regular Redmi Note 13 Pro, the 4G variant here, maxes out at 1080p. But Before we talk about the videos here, let's go over to the camera section and talk about the photos coming off these devices. When it comes to taking photos with these devices, both are really identical to some extent, and they both nail these photos beautifully. But the only major difference you begin to notice here is in terms of the color. While you get this kind of magenta tint to the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G, you have a greenish yellowish tint to the regular 13 Pro, and that's most times for indoor shots. But when you go outside for outdoor shots, you begin to notice that you have this less crushing of shadows and better exposure with the Pro Plus 5G here. It feels like a slightly better shooter than the Redmi Note 13 Pro. Now, to the selfie side of things, the 60 megapixel front-facing camera, you have this slightly better shooter on the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G. You have this better blacks, especially for the hair, and slightly better color management with the 5G variant. This is also applicable to the selfie portrait mode here. You have the better edge detection with the 5G, but it's just a slight difference between the smartphones. And also the colors pop here with the 5G variant, giving you a slightly better skin tones. Now, when you take these smartphones to low lit conditions, or low light conditions rather, you get a better photo with minimal blur as far as handshakes with the 5G here than what you get with the Redmi Note 13 Pro. But when you go over to the night mode with these smartphones, they are really identical, and it now boils down to the color preference from these devices, the magenta and green kind of thing we talked about earlier. Now, over to the video side of things, both of these devices max out at 1080p for the front-facing camera, and I tend to lean towards the 5G variant here because of the better exposure handling and not the abrupt change in exposure you get sometimes from the Redmi Note 13 Pro. It has this smooth transient exposure handling on the 5G. Now, when you switch over to the rear cameras in terms of the videos here, you get 4K in resolution as the maximum resolution for the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G, while the regular Redmi Note 13 maxes out at 1080p for the rear cameras here. And something I noticed about this regular one here is the fact that it gives you this slightly overdone contrast and saturation than the flatter looking, more natural footage you get from the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G. So that means you get the less contrasty and cleaner footage from the 5G variant here. So that means you can regain that less contrasty feel from the Pro to look like this one, the 5G in post, but you can do that for the 5G to look like the Pro in post. And before I forget, another thing I noticed is the microphone on the Redmi Note 13 Pro here sounds richer and fuller than the audio you get from the mic on the Pro Plus 5G. There's also video stabilization on both of these devices. Although we've seen better, this will handle your regular day-to-day jitters while recording videos on these devices. Now, we've established that the Pro Plus 5G has a slightly better camera, the 4K resolution recording and less contrasty and crushed shadows from this device, but that's for an over $100 increase in price. So is it actually worth it? So my conclusion here would be that if you're not really bothered about 4K resolution recording and that contrasty thing happening with the Redmi Note 13 Pro here, then the Redmi Note 13 Pro is about 85% in terms of the cameras when compared to the Pro Plus 5G. You get about identical photos with these devices. It only boils down to the video side of things, where you have 4K in terms of resolution for recording and also not crushing the shadows like I've mentioned over 1,000 times now. So if processing, 5G modem and other things I mentioned don't really matter to you, it's just about cameras, this is an identical photo camera but not identical in terms of the videos. There's an edge here. By the way, do subscribe to this channel if you're liking this content so far. Both of these devices boast a hefty 5000 mAh battery capacity. Now, you might think, hey, these days most smartphones can easily last you a day and more, and you'd be right, but where the real magic happens is in how quickly these devices are able to juice themselves up, of course using the chargers. The Note 13 Pro Plus 5G comes with a lightning fast 120 watts charger right out the box, and that means you can charge this device from 0 to 100 in just 25 minutes. Impressive, right? On the other hand, you get a charger, a 65-watt charger with the Pro here, which charges from 0 to 100 in about 50 minutes. So if you're all about getting back to using your smartphone as soon as possible, then the Pro Plus 5G is the clear winner in this category. So here's my verdict. If you need a 5G smartphone that has great camera and amazing speeds as far as processing, then the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G is that device you should consider as far as these two smartphones are concerned. But if 5G isn't that much a need for you, and you think you can make do with the camera from this device, then by all means get this 4G variant, which is the Note 13 Pro. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below before you check out my review on these devices here. Cuídate.